And people were so married to this series and these movies that they have their opinion, they have the right to their opinion, but they certainly continue to watch it.
That's the thing at the end. I think it's a strange consumer these days. Like a lot of people are just, I don't even know if hate watching is the right word, but it's not just, it's so many things and people are so angry about what they're watching, but they can't turn away.
Yeah, it's true. But, but hate watching. I mean, if I really hate something, I'm not going to watch it. So,
I agree
why?
with you. I mean, it's the same thing I say to my, you people, the online trolls. I'm like, but you listen to me every day. So,
that's right.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Are there any secrets that you would like to reveal?
No, David.
I didn't think so.
Here's one. David is my confirmation name.
It's a good name.
It's one of my favorite names, I don't know if you are watching Turner Classic Movies, but I'm obsessed with that station. I have it on 24/7. And last October, I did every Sunday with Ben Mankiewicz, my bromance, and we presented 2 horror movies. And this year, we're back every Monday night. It's the thing that I live for more than any. I mean, I love The Masked Singer. I love it just like that. But Turner Classic Movies is my game. And I wormed my way in there like E. Harrington. And I got to do that month-long spotlight last year, and I'm doing it again. And I'm doing more next year. I love it. And we showed Possessed 2 Mondays ago with Joan Crawford, and she's obsessed with the man named David. And she's a schizophrenic, and she's walking around the streets at the beginning in no makeup. And she's just going, dazed. And she's like going, I'm looking for David. Are you David? And the bus stops and the door opens. She goes, is David on this bus? No, ma'am, he's not. Where's David? So David is my favorite name. And of course, the statue of David.
Well, listen, I didn't think you wanted to reveal any secrets here, but you can't blame a girl for trying.
You should absolutely ask,
And
instead, I swerved off an exit to something I really wanted to talk about.
Turner Classic Movies, The Masked Singer.
Turner Classic Movies, yeah.
It's all good stuff. Well, I mean, like you said, you say like disappointment, like and look, it's a tough business, right?
Oh God.
When you talk about things that you almost got or that you were in the mix for, is this true? Because I read this somewhere. Were you in the mix for Jack McFarlane on Will and Grace? Like, did you ever?
I auditioned for it, but I didn't get it. And I went to college with Max Muchnick, and he didn't give me the job. But who could be better than Sean Hayes? Nobody. So I got what I was supposed to get. And I don't think I was in the mix for it. I don't know how far I went for it. I know I was seen twice, but I don't know. But it was a great show. I watched it, and I watched it every week, not hate watched it.
Love watched it, but listen, it was the same time as Sex and the City. So like you said, you might not have been Anthony. It was pretty much the same time.
It was. Yeah, it was. It's true.
Why, I followed your career, like, it's not just about Sex and the City, like Steam Pipe Alley and like a little shout out to Men in Trees. I had the pleasure of having Anne Heche on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. Working with her. She was beautiful to work with, by the way. I had a great time with her. She was lovely to me. And that was a good experience, except for the fact that I had to fly to Vancouver every week. But, it's not that I love Vancouver. I just, I'm in New York, and it's, it's like going to Hawaii or Bora Bora. It's a long flight. But I had a good time with that show. I really, John Amos, who I loved. Oh God, it was lovely. It
was a great show. What do you attribute just Sex in the City? Like, the fact that now we have a second incarnation, like, what do you think, what this show did for like LGBTQ? We had 2 main gay characters, like in the 90s. That was,
big. Big.
Fashion, New York.
Yeah. I mean, it was way ahead of its time, and what it did for women and their sexuality and their sexual life, being unashamed of it and wanting what they want and going after what they get, and all their disappointments. In New York City was like they said, it's always been the 5th character, and I'll tell you what it did. I live like 8 blocks from the meatpacking district, and the meatpacking district, when I got there, was the meatpacking district. It was, they were slaughtering cows and slicing, it was a butcher. It was a big, area for butchering animals to eat. And now, because they were, people had, they would go down to the meat camp. They filmed a lot of the meat packing district. There was an apartment there, and I forget who had the apartment there. But anyway, that accelerated the growth. I think Sex and the City accelerated the growth of the meat packing district. It became this go-to place, the Soho House, and and Pastis, and I go down there all the time, except on weekends when drunk women chase me.
And now what it costs to live there, so
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
All those buildings. How do you, just from being friends with her and working with her, how do you think, like, just from the 90s to today, like SJP has changed, like as an actress, as a human?
Well, I think she was always a great actress, and she's always been so kind. And I've, socialized with her and her husband, who I also adore, Matthew, who's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. And, but in this incarnation, that last season of And Just Like That, she was at the top of her game, and she, like, we lost Willie. That was horrible. It was very difficult. It was incredibly sad. And they had to rewrite on the fly. And I remember coming in I came in the day after he passed. I was working, and I just broke. It was horrible. And she took me, SJ took me out and just, calmed me down, soothed me. And she was just like she's like a sister. She's amazing to work with. And the great thing was that I was always in Charlotte's life. And look, it had been 11 years since the last movie. So obviously I am friends with Carrie. Anthony is friends with Carrie, but audiences need to be spoon-fed and they need to see it. I've been put into her life now, which is, a great thing. I mean, I get to go to lunch with them. I get to, I get to be part of her life, and as well as Charlotte's life and Miranda. And so, and I hope I get to be part of some of the new characters who I love, like, Sarita Chowdhury, who I adore. She's become a very close friend, and Karen Pittman, who's wonderful, and Nicole R. Parker, who I adore. I love her. So I mean, I hope I get to play with them too. I don't know yet. I get these episodes one at a time. That's how I like it. I don't want to know.
You don't.
I don't want to know. No, I don't. I want to discover it at the table read. That's when I read it. That's how I do it.
Was there something comforting about, the fact that you guys were in production, like when Willie passed, the fact that, I mean, not that everyone was so far away, you lived in New York, but was there at least
Yes,
something?
we were all together.
Yeah.
We were all together. It was, I mean, to be separated during that wouldn't have been fun. No, it wouldn't have been a good thing. We were together. We all kind of just huddled together and powered through and did it, and kept them in our hearts the whole time.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
Is there a certain story